Have you ever stopped to think why it suddenly became so hard to remember where you put your keys? Or why some words just disappear from your mind in the middle of a conversation? You know that feeling of confusion that seems to be getting more and more common, that mental fog that leaves you feeling insecure, that makes you question whether you're losing your essence, whether you're no longer the person you've always been. I know you've had that silent fear, that thought you try to push away but always comes back. Am I developing Alzheimer's? Will I forget the faces of my children, my grandchildren? Will I become a burden to the people I love? This fear is real, it's legitimate, and you're not alone in this struggle. Millions of people over 60 are living exactly what you're living, feeling what you're feeling. But today I want to tell you something that could completely change your perspective on all of this. There's a simple, accessible food that you probably already have in your kitchen, or can find at any grocery store, that has the power to help repair brain damage, protect your memory, restore that mental clarity you thought you'd lost forever. It's not expensive medicine. It's not a complicated treatment. It's nothing that will overwhelm you or confuse you even more. It's something so natural, so within reach, that when you discover it, you'll wonder why nobody told you about this before. And I'm going to explain exactly how this works, what this food is, how it acts on your brain, and how you can start using it today to feel the difference in the coming weeks. Before I continue, I want to extend a sincere invitation to you. If you've made it this far, if you're searching for answers, if you want to better understand what's happening with your memory and discover real ways to care for your brain health, I'd really appreciate it if you'd subscribe to the channel. This isn't just a standard subscription request. It's an invitation for you to become part of a community that understands you, that respects your difficulties, that doesn't judge your forgetfulness. Here on this channel, I share validated information, accessible content, designed especially for people who are living what you're living. Every week there's new content, always with the same care, always with the same respect for your story. You don't have to face this alone. You don't have to be afraid in silence. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and know that you have a safe space here to seek knowledge, to ask questions, to feel welcomed. This channel is for you. Now let's talk about something that might be happening in your brain without you realizing it. But that explains a lot of what you're feeling. When you forget a word, when you lose your train of thought in the middle of a story, when you walk into a room and don't remember why you went there, what's happening isn't simply lack of attention or normal aging. What's happening is that the cells in your brain, the neurons, are suffering from something called oxidative stress. Imagine that inside your brain there are small power plants, the mitochondria, working tirelessly to keep everything functioning. But over the years, these power plants start producing toxic waste, free radicals, that damage brain structures, harm communication between neurons, destroy memories, weaken connections. It's as if your brain is being attacked from the inside, slowly, day after day, and you feel the effects of this in the form of forgetfulness, confusion, slow thinking. You're not going crazy. You're not losing your mind irreversibly. What's happening is that your brain needs defense, needs protection, needs nutrients that fight these free radicals and help repair what's been damaged. And that's exactly where this food I'm going to tell you about comes in. This food has impressive power because it's rich in something called antioxidants. Antioxidants are like soldiers that enter your brain and fight the free radicals, neutralize the attack, protect the neurons, help repair the damage. But it's not just any antioxidant, not just any food. We're talking about a food that contains a unique combination of substances that work together synergistically, enhancing each other's effects, creating a true brain shield. This food is able to cross the barrier that protects the brain, the blood-brain barrier, and reach exactly where it needs to go, to the brain cells that are suffering, to the memory areas that are weakened, to the connections that are being lost. When you consume this food regularly, you're literally feeding your brain with the right fuel, with the right tools to regenerate, to strengthen, to function again like it used to. But before I reveal what this food is, I need you to understand something very important. Memory loss, cognitive decline, the fear of Alzheimer's, all of this is not a final sentence. It's not because you're over 60 that you're condemned to lose your mind, to forget who you are, to become dependent. The human brain has an incredible capacity called neuroplasticity, which means it can reorganize, create new connections, repair damage, adapt. Even if you've already noticed forgetfulness, even if you've already felt that mental confusion, There's still time, there's still hope, there's still so much you can do. And diet is one of the most powerful tools you have at your disposal. What you put on your plate every day isn't just food, it's information. It's instruction for your cells. It's a command for your brain to work better or worse. And when you choose the right foods, you're choosing to protect your memory, preserve your identity, maintain your independence. So what is this food? I'm talking about eggs. Yes, regular eggs, the ones you've known forever, that might even be in your fridge right now. You might be thinking, eggs? Seriously, how can something so simple have all this power? And I understand skepticism. I understand that we were taught for years to be afraid of eggs, to think they'd raise cholesterol, that they'd be bad for the heart, that we should avoid them. But the most recent science, the most current studies, show that eggs are actually one of the most complete and most protective foods for the brain that exist. And I'm going to explain exactly why, in a simple way, without complicated terms, so you understand how this works and feel confident to include this food in your routine. Inside the egg yolk, there's a substance called choline. Choline is an essential nutrient, meaning your body needs it but can't produce enough on its own. And do you know what choline is for? It's the raw material for producing a neurotransmitter called acetylcholine, which is absolutely fundamental for memory, for learning, for concentration, for communication between neurons. When you don't have enough choline, acetylcholine production drops, and that's when problems begin. You forget names, lose your train of thought, have difficulty learning new things, feel that mental fog that never seems to lift. People with Alzheimer's, for example, have very low levels of acetylcholine in the brain. So when you eat eggs, when you provide choline to your body, you're giving your brain exactly what it needs to make more acetylcholine, to improve communication between neurons, to strengthen memory. But that's not all. The egg yolk also contains powerful antioxidants called lutein and zeaxanthin. These antioxidants are the same ones that protect your eyes from macular degeneration. But recent studies discover that they also accumulate in the brain, especially in areas related to memory and cognitive processing. They fight oxidative stress, protect neurons against damage, reduce brain inflammation. And there's more. Eggs are rich in B vitamins, especially B12, B6, and folic acid, which are essential for preventing brain atrophy, for keeping homocysteine levels under control. Elevated homocysteine is a huge risk factor for dementia, for Alzheimer's, for cognitive decline. When you have these B vitamins in adequate amounts, you keep homocysteine low, you protect brain volume, you preserve your mental functions. And look how interesting. Eggs also provide the highest quality proteins, with all the essential amino acids your body needs. Protein isn't just important for muscles. It's important for the brain, too. Your neurotransmitters, your brain enzymes, your support structures, all of this is made of protein. When you don't eat enough protein, the brain suffers, mental functioning slows down, memory becomes compromised. And the egg is a source of complete protein, easy to digest, affordable, that you can prepare in countless different ways. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be boring. It can be a boiled egg, scrambled eggs, a simple omelet, whatever is easiest and tastiest for you. Now I want you to stop for a moment and think about your own life. How many times have you felt frustrated, embarrassed, scared because of forgetfulness? How many times have you caught yourself wondering if this is normal? If it's getting worse, if one day you'll wake up and no longer recognize yourself. I know this fear is real, I know it hurts, and I want you to know that there's a lot you can do to change this story. You don't have to passively accept that memory goes away with age. You don't have to resign yourself to cognitive decline. There are tools, there are strategies, there are foods like eggs that can make an enormous difference in your quality of life, in your clarity, in your independence. Here, about halfway through our talk, I want to ask you a very direct and personal question. Have you been feeling afraid of forgetting things? Have you caught yourself confused, not knowing where you are or what you were doing? Are you afraid that this will get worse, that one day you won't be able to take care of yourself anymore? If the answer is yes, I want to go to the comments right now and write exactly this. I want to protect my memory. You don't need to write anything more, just that phrase. It might seem simple, but when you do this, when you put into words what you're feeling, you're taking the first step to take control of the situation. And more than that, You're helping other people who are reading the comments, who are feeling exactly like you, to realize they're not alone, that many people are going through this, that there's hope, that there's a solution. So go ahead, write in the comments, I want to protect my memory. And then come back here to continue with me, because there's still a lot of important things I need to tell you. Let's go a little deeper about how eggs act on the brain in a practical way. Day to day, imagine that your brain is a city full of roads, avenues, alleys, where information travels all the time. When you're young, these roads are well maintained, traffic flows, information arrives quickly from one place to another. But over time, with oxidative stress, with lack of nutrients, these roads start to deteriorate. Potholes appear, bridges collapse, traffic gets slow, information doesn't arrive where it should anymore. That's why you forget someone's name. That's why you lose your train of thought in the middle of a sentence. Now, when you provide choline antioxidants, B vitamins through eggs, it's as if you're sending a maintenance crew into that city. The roads start to be repaired, new connections are created, traffic flows again, information circulates again, and gradually, you notice that words come back easier, that you remember more clearly, that the confusion decreases. But I know you might be wondering, how many eggs do I need to eat? When should I eat them? Is there any risk? Let's talk about this very clearly and practically. The general recommendation, based on recent scientific studies, is that consuming 1 to 2 eggs a day is safe and beneficial for most people, especially for brain health. If you have any specific medical condition, it's always good to talk to your doctor. But for the vast majority of people over 60, eating eggs daily not only doesn't harm, but brings enormous benefits. That old fear of cholesterol, that idea that eggs would clog your arteries, was debunked by science. Today we know that dietary cholesterol has little impact on blood cholesterol, and that eggs, when consumed appropriately, can even improve the cholesterol profile, increasing HDL, the good cholesterol, which protects the heart and brain. Another important thing is the method of preparation. You don't need to eat eggs fried in oil or lard every day. That really isn't ideal. But a boiled egg, a poached egg, an omelet made with olive oil or in a non-stick pan, all of this is perfectly healthy and tasty. You can eat it for breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever you prefer. What's important is regularity, is making eggs part of your eating routine. And look, it doesn't have to be boring. It doesn't have to be monotonous. You can vary. You can add vegetables to the omelet. You can make scrambled eggs with tomato, with onion. You can boil them and take them as a snack. You can make stuffed eggs. The possibilities are many, and that makes everything easier, more enjoyable, more sustainable long-term. Now, let's talk about something you might not know, but that's extremely important. The brain is the organ that consumes the most energy in the human body. Despite representing only about 2% of body weight, it consumes approximately 20% of all the energy you produce. And where does this energy come from? From the food you eat, obviously, but it's not just any food, not just any energy source. The brain needs specific nutrients, healthy fats, quality proteins, vitamins, and minerals in adequate amounts. When you eat poorly, when you skip meals, when you eat only simple carbohydrates, sugar, processed foods, you're depriving your brain of the right fuel. And it starts to fail, to function slowly, to lose capacity. It's like trying to make a car run on adulterated fuel. It might go, but it doesn't perform, doesn't have power, breaks down easily. Eggs, in this sense, are premium fuel for the brain. They provide healthy fats, especially in the yolk, which are fundamental for the structure of neuronal cell membranes. The myelin sheath, that layer that surrounds neurons and allows electrical impulses to travel fast, is made largely of fat. When you don't consume enough fat, or when you consume bad fats, the myelin deteriorates, impulses get slow, thinking gets confused. So eating eggs with their good fats is literally strengthening the physical structure of your brain, giving it the building material it needs to stay strong and functional. And there's another aspect that needs to be said, which is the relationship between diet and inflammation. Chronic inflammation in the brain is one of the main factors leading to the development of Alzheimer's and other forms of dementia. When the brain is inflamed, it's as if it's always on alert, always spending energy to fight a threat that doesn't exist. And in this process, neurons are damaged, connections are lost, memory deteriorates. Many modern foods, full of sugar, Trans fats, chemical additives, promote this inflammation, but eggs, on the other hand, have anti-inflammatory properties. Choline, for example, helps reduce inflammatory markers in the body. Antioxidants fight oxidative stress, which is one of the causes of inflammation. So by including eggs in your diet, you're not only nourishing the brain, but also calming inflammation, creating a more favorable environment for brain health, for memory preservation, for mental clarity. I know many people are afraid of changes, afraid to try something new and have it not work, afraid to be frustrated again. But I guarantee you, from the bottom of my heart, that it's worth trying. I'm not promising instant miracles. I'm not saying you'll wake up tomorrow with a memory of when you were 20. But I'm telling you that there's solid evidence. There are scientific studies. There are reports from real people who improved their memory, who felt more clarity, who regained confidence by taking better care of their diet, by including nutrients like those eggs offer. And the best part is that it's something simple, accessible, inexpensive, that you can start today without needing a prescription, without needing expensive treatments, without needing to leave home for anything complicated. Think with me, how much does a dozen eggs cost? A few dollars, right? And what is your memory worth? Your identity, your ability to recognize the faces you love, to remember the stories that made you who you are. There's no price for that. And if for a few dollars, with something you find at any grocery store, you can give your brain a chance to strengthen, to protect itself, to repair itself, why not try? What's the risk? Practically none. And what's the potential gain? Enormous. Now I want to tell you about a specific study that really impressed me when I read it. Researchers followed a group of people over 60 for several years, analyzing their diet and regularly testing cognitive function, memory, reasoning ability. What they discovered was that people who consumed eggs regularly, at least 4 to 5 times a week, had significantly better cognitive performance than those who didn't eat eggs or ate very little. They remembered more, reasoned faster, had fewer signs of decline. And the most interesting thing is that this benefit was independent of other factors, meaning even taking into account physical exercise, other parts of diet, educational level, egg consumption still made a difference on its own. Another study specifically analyzed choline levels in the blood and the risk of dementia. People with higher choline levels had a significantly lower risk of developing Alzheimer's and other forms of dementia over the years. And where does choline come from? Mainly from eggs, which are by far the richest and most bioavailable food source of choline that exists. So when you eat eggs, you're literally investing in protection of your brain long term. You're building a reserve of nutrients that will defend you against cognitive decline, against memory loss, against the fear that haunts you. But I don't want you to think that just eating eggs is enough, that this will solve everything on its own. Brain health is multifactorial, depends on several aspects of your life. It depends on sleep, because it's during sleep that the brain clears toxins, consolidates memories, regenerates. It depends on physical activity, because exercise increases brain blood flow, stimulates the growth of new neurons, reduces inflammation. It depends on stress control, because chronic stress releases hormones like cortisol that literally shrink the hippocampus, the brain region responsible for memory. It depends on socialization, because talking, interacting, maintaining emotional bonds activates various brain areas and protects against dementia. And it depends, of course, on diet, on providing the brain with the nutrients it needs to function well. Eggs are a fundamental piece of this puzzle, but they're not the only piece. They work best when combined with a healthy lifestyle, with other habits that protect the brain. So what I suggest is this. Start including eggs in your routine, at least 4 to 5 times a week if possible, and observe how you feel. Pay attention to whether memory improves, whether confusion decreases, whether you feel more alert, more present. At the same time, try to sleep better, try to move more, even if it's just a short walk every day. Try to control stress with breathing, with meditation, with activities that calm you. Try to keep in touch with loved ones, with friends, with family, even if it's by phone or video call. All of this together creates a favorable environment for the brain to recover, to strengthen, to protect itself. And you'll notice the difference. It might not be overnight, but over weeks, over months, you'll notice you're more lucid, more confident, more yourself. And if you're wondering if it's too late, if the damage is already done, If there's no point trying anymore, I want to tell you with complete certainty that it's not too late. The brain has an incredible ability to adapt, to create new connections, to compensate for damage at any age. Of course, the sooner you start, the better. But even if you're already 70, 80 years old, even if you already feel that memory is poor, there's still much that can be done. There's still possible improvement. There's still hope. And eggs, with all their nutritional richness, are a powerful tool in this journey of brain recovery and protection. Now, before I finish, I want to make a special request of you. If this video helped you in any way, if it gave you hope, if it taught you something new, if it made you feel that you're not alone, please leave a like down below. The like isn't just a button. It's a way for you to tell me that this content makes sense, that it's useful, that it's reaching the right people. And when you leave a like, you help the video reach more people, more folks who are suffering in silence, who are afraid, who need to hear this message of hope and knowledge. So click the like, please. And if you can, share this video with someone you know is going through this, a friend, a family member, a neighbor. Sometimes a video like this can change a person's trajectory, can give them the information they needed to start taking better care of their brain health. And since we're talking about sharing, let me tell you a quick story. Last week, I received a message from a 68-year-old woman, I'll call her Mrs. Maria, who told me that a few months ago she was desperate because she was forgetting everything, was afraid to leave home alone, was afraid to forget the way, was afraid of not recognizing her grandchildren. She watched one of my videos where I talked about nutrition for the brain and decided to try. She started eating eggs every day for breakfast, started walking a little every morning, started doing crossword puzzles. And she told me that after 3 months, the whole family noticed a difference. She was more present in conversations, remembered people's names, could tell stories from the past with details, felt confident again. She wrote that she felt she had recovered a part of herself that she thought she'd lost forever. This moved me deeply, because it's exactly for stories like this that I do this work. It's not for the views. It's not for recognition. It's for the possibility of making a real difference in the lives of real people, of giving hope, of giving practical tools at work. So I want you to know that you can also be a success story. You can also recover clarity, memory, confidence. You can also feel present again, whole, capable. And it all starts with small decisions, with small changes, with simple choices like including eggs in your diet, like taking better care of sleep, like moving a little more. It's not about perfection. It's not about doing everything right. It's about doing what's possible one day at a time and trusting that your body, that your brain has an incredible ability to heal, to strengthen, to protect itself when you give it the right conditions. And before I say goodbye, I want to leave a final reflection with you. Memory isn't just about remembering facts, dates, names. Memory is who you are. It's your story. It's your identity. It's a thread that connects the past with the present and with the future. When you lose memory, you feel like you're losing yourself, that you're dissolving gradually. And I understand that fear. I understand the anguish. I understand the sadness. But I want you to know that while there's life, there's capacity for change. There's possibility for improvement. There's reason for hope. And caring for your brain, feeding it well, protecting it, is one of the most profound forms of self-love that exists. It's a way of saying I matter, my story matters, I want to continue being me. So don't give up. Don't passively accept decline. Don't settle for fear. Fight for your memory, for your clarity, for your identity. Eat the eggs. Take care of sleep, move, socialize, learn new things, challenge the brain, and above all, have patience and compassion with yourself. If you forgot something today, that's okay. Tomorrow is a new day. If you felt confused, that's okay. That doesn't define you. It's not the end. It's just a moment, and moments pass. And with the right care, these moments will become less and less frequent, less and less frightening. I thank you from my heart for staying here with me until the end. This shows that you're committed to your health, to your memory, to your quality of life. Don't forget to leave that like, to subscribe to the channel, to turn on notifications, to comment down below saying I want to protect my memory. And if you have any questions, any story to share, feel free. The comments are a safe space, a place of welcome, of exchange. See you in the next video. And until then, take care of yourself, Take care of your memory. Take care of your brain, because you deserve to live with clarity, with lucidity, with your essence intact. A big hug, and see you soon.